Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Taurus March 2022 forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, for those of you who are stopping by for the first time, and if so, welcome. We here hope to see more of you and hope you're doing well. Now, this deck this month is of an African theme, and so the protagonists in the deck will mainly be people of colour, I'm pleased to say, because that's something that we don't often see, do we? So I'm very pleased and proud to be able to provide a reading for you with that theme in mind. Now let's draw 5 cards. 5 is the number of change very often, and one thing we can always be certain of is change. But let's see what there is in store for you in March, shall we? There is Mama Coin. Obviously from the suit of coins or the suit of earth, as you would already know. Now this deck is new. I've literally received it from the developer just in FedEx the other day. This is the Star. The imagery is beautiful, I have to say. I'm sure that you will agree with me. And the other good thing about it is it's something different, isn't it? There is the 9 of Gourds. Now, Gourds relates to cups because in tribal life throughout the previous centuries, people didn't have often access to pottery or glass, but, well, they did have clay pottery, I suppose, and were known as gourds rather than what we call as cups or glass cups. What's this card here? That is the 4 of Gourds. Very much a watery theme coming through. Now, don't look at any of these cards while you're doing that, Nigel. Try and do something which is something more professional than that, shall we? And finally, what do we have here? Oh, fantastic. The 2 of Staffs. Well, come and sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. All right, now, Taurus. See, there you are. There's Taurus there. We shall start where? I think, given that there is a major arcana here somewhere, where is it? The Star. Let's have a look at the Star and see what it has to say for you. This is an interesting depiction of the Star, isn't it? Very interesting indeed. Well, I think the Star has guided you now to a place of hope for a better tomorrow. In this place, you can close your eyes and imagine the new possibilities that are now ready to be birthed. The deep, fresh waters wash over your feet like the ritual washing that blessed those before you. Bright roses bloom as a new symbol of new love and passion for life. You can now breathe a breath of fresh air as you take time to make room for gratitude and renewed optimism. Now, the astrology of the Star card is particularly good for you this month. It is Saturn ruling Aquarius with Neptune exalted. Now, Aquarius is all about the individual and uniqueness, and yet it has an overall humanitarian outlook, I think. Well, the Star shares these qualities in that it is trying to remind you about the divinity and the uniqueness within you, while encouraging you to be a conduit for bringing down your highest potential. This is a time of inspiration, crystallization, self-recognition, radiating out. You'll be very magnetic during this period. You'll have a clear vision and a trust in yourself. And in some respects, I think there'll be a connection to universal intelligence. This card represents a beautiful process. Cosmic inspiration of the highest nature is received and made manifest on the material plane. Now, as I say, this is ruled by Aquarius, the medium or the water carrier in this process. Now, this talks about a new crystal clear vision that lends form and purpose to that which a moment ago was probably only just a vague impression. you gain a more penetrating view into the boundless potential of your development. The power of the inspiration you receive gives wings to your soul and lets the apparently impossible become manifest in truly marvelous ways. This is a time when you will be inspired by life, and it's a reminder to follow your dreams, which will give you the most inspiration. Be open to love and trust creation and what it brings. Encouragement is now being given that I think you have had some testing times, haven't you, in the past? But now is the time to move forward with renewed hope and live an inspired life that you can express yourself fully in. The receptive antennas must, however, be subjected regularly to careful purifying and cleansing. If reception is disturbed by self-seeking tendencies, the tremendous energies at hand can have a devastating effect. Enthusiasm could become fanaticism. Inspiration may become illusion. Emotions need to be watched carefully and observed. Now, this means that you must not repress and control your emotions either, because only if you allow emotional unfolding to take place, as is symbolized by these rose blossoms here, then that is when things will take off for you. Let your star rise and stay in contact with the earth. Trust your environment and find ways to let others share in it. You will be tested, and you will be recognized by the fruits you bear. Maybe ask yourself this: are you totally fulfilled in your present area of work? Say this to yourself: I am a radiant light being. I am a star that walks upon a larger star. My creative powers of imagination and my connection to all-encompassing consciousness show me the way to realize my ideas. Well, where shall we go next, do you think? What about this character in the top left-hand corner? This looks rather interesting, doesn't it? See the way the card is melanated? That's an interesting attribute that the developer has made to the deck. Now, let's have a look at this card here. Now, this is Mama Coin. Well, she is the water of the earth. She is the oasis. Her world is a lush garden that is always plentiful, flowing effortlessly with the seasons. She gives charitably and generously because she knows that she is always provided for, as you are. She is completely in tune with the cycles of life, making her a great leader and a matriarch, I suppose. But remember, in these court cards, genders are not important. She uses her highly intuitive nature to provide emotional security, making her a wonderful homemaker and someone who works to create beautiful and comforting surroundings for her loved ones. And like a river, she ebbs and flows according to the terrain, quietly going about her duties, often without praise or recognition, it must be said. She is resourceful, making even the harshest conditions work in her favor. Like the wetlands, she provides the perfect environment for the recycling of dead matter and the preservations of her lands. Legacy is important to her. Reverencing the ancestors keeps her in touch with her spirit and intuition. Now, when she is not in balance, I've got to say, she may find herself to be like the harsh desert terrain, unable to sustain much life. She is then disconnected and constantly focused on surviving, becoming a workaholic perhaps, or too focused on the needs of others instead of her own. She can therefore become dull, succumbing to monotony, no longer experiencing the joys of life. On the other hand, the waters come in like a flood and create mudslides that cause her to lose her grip on reality. And when this happens, she can become toxic and self-destructive and have unhelpful behaviors and addictions. She may also become insecure, feeling powerless and weak against those who have put unreasonable demands upon her or unable to stand on her own. Now, I think this mama coin must always be mindful of the balance of give and take. Do you understand what I mean? She provides the sustenance, love, and protection we all turn to for survival. But when she flourishes and prospers in good health and equilibrium, everybody benefits. In many respects, she truly is the queen of the thrones of the earth. And I think that the people important to you during this period are likely to be Capricorn and Sagittarius. You will be ambitious during this period. You'll be affectionate and kind. People are going to find you very charming. There may be times when you feel a little bit timid, but you will be practical. And I do think that you will be interested in domesticated things. What is important to you at this time, though, is physical nourishment. And I think she also represents, as that other card did, the star, that you are now overcoming something of a barren past. Now, you are going to be ambitious, as I say, but I think that this is a time for you to work with instinct and intuition rather than intellect. Now, I'm not saying that you are not intellectual. You have a fine mind. But what I'm talking about here is being quiet, hard-working, practical, sensible. But don't become mechanical while you're going through that process there. She does, for me, represent prosperity and security, I must say. Very much so. She can also represent the mother type who guides others through problems. But she does need, and you do need, to find time to create nurturing time for yourself. I think you have been through something of an arid stretch on your journey, and you are now arriving in more fruitful surroundings. Now you can rest and devote some attention to yourself and your physical needs. Ask yourself, in what ways have you neglected your body and your outer self? Do you indulge yourself? So devote more attention to your health at this time and your physical beauty. Well, you are already physically beautiful. I mean, Taurian women are well known as being gorgeous creatures. But say this to yourself: I give my body the gift of loving attention. It gives me the gift of life, energy, joy in living and in health. Well, we might, I think, go down to this diagonally opposite. God, such great things for you in store here, incidentally. Such great things. What a fantastic month for you. You'll see it as we go through this. Good on you, Mama Coin. Now, what's this? The Two of Staffs. This would otherwise be known as the Two of Wands. What an interesting depiction this is here. Now, throughout the African diaspora, of course, masquerades have been a source of much healing, reverence, and celebration of the people's connection to Earth, their ancestors, and the higher deities who guide them. Now, among the traditions is Chakaba, the Zambian name for masquerade that's danced on stilts. Now, it's known by different names in other regions like Trinidad, Guinea, and in Nigeria. But the stilts symbolize the connection to spirit and the foresight to see what has come before them as well as what they now face. They also symbolize maintaining balance and harmony in life. Stilt walkers operate, I suppose, as a sort of a spiritual police in the community, and in some societies are even considered healers. Just like the Chakaba, you must learn to make decisions in a way that brings integration and balance into your life. But isn't that what this mama was saying before? The stilt walker stands on two wands decorated in a snake motif. Snakes represent the infinite flow of energy that fuels transformation and rebirth, the cycle of life. On each eye is a stone that acts as a sort of a lens that magnifies and brings clarity as it looks beyond the world that it stands on. Now, the astrology of this card is particularly good for you because it is Mars ruling the first decan of its own sign, that of Aries. And it has the sun exalted in Aries, of course. So Mars in Aries. That is talking about bringing you a real warlike energy at the moment. You're becoming a dynamic pioneer in some ways, even though this is going to follow this period here where you are going with the flow. There is building up within you this sense of wanting to dominate, to master a situation. You could well want to dominate another person, or more likely a situation. And certainly I don't think you are at this time going to be necessarily satisfied with your lot, and you're going to be focusing your intent on things. Because the planet Mars is the bearer of dynamic, active powers, and he's in his own sign, Aries, the pioneer who constantly seeks new ways and methods of advancement. So the drive forward finds new directions. Now, this is really about domination, dominion, and that rests on harmony and centeredness. A better expression, I suppose, might be command, in the sense of having command of yourself as well. And this condition demands that your energies are collected and concentrated to provide the courage necessary to embark on new paths. Now, whatever drastic changes may occur along the way, you will not be thrown off balance. Now, in a sense, you are kind of being overcome by a boldness, a courage, a fierceness, even a shamelessness in some respects. You'll be generous and proud, but also there'll be look, I see this, and I mean it with respect, but I think there will be something of a sense of revenge and a resolution building up within you. Certainly, I think that this energy is suggesting that your will is beginning to rebel against its predisposed boundaries. Come hell or high water, you will be using your willpower to break through stagnant situations and remove long-standing blocks. This is really a time to act on things, but act on instinct, just as this woman was saying here, and what you believe to be right, without overthinking the situation. See, this is very consistent here. And you will have, I think, dynamic leadership ability here, and it's going to be recognized by other people as well. So pay attention to centering. If you're in contact with your center, you are certain to master the situation. Trust your energy and don't go for any false compromises. And ask yourself, which tasks and situations are a challenge to you? If you are in a challenging situation, then sit down upright and comfortably. Breathe deeply into your abdomen. Wait until your breathing flows gently and calmly and you feel quite relaxed. Now visualize the situation at hand and see yourself dealing with it while remain centered. And during this time, say this to yourself: I find the strength I need now in my center. Well, I think we'll go to the Four of Gourds because it looks like a really interesting piece of art. Here's this melanation again. Can you see it in the light? Very interesting. Now, let's have a look. Wow. Here's well, there's three here and there's one there. I think in the three gourds in the foreground, we see a celebration of abundant love and affection for you at this time. But now that time has passed, and you must take time to contemplate what the next steps are in your journey. So we see here somebody sitting on a stone in a deep state of focus. It is at this place that you may find yourself numb and apathetic with regards to what lies before you. You might find yourself going within to tap into your higher intuition, and that does not surprise me at all with these other cards that are coming around here. It is from the seat of your higher self that you are able to realize that the new opportunities around that are emerging. You see, this fourth gourd that's up here, it appears really it comes from a different dimension, and it is overflowing with fresh new water to fill the gourds below. It is up to you to stand on your rock and take this new gourd by the hand, directing it to what you need it to fill. The four gourds is, I think, a time of balance, and I'm just sort of standing still in a sense. Things may be going well. You may have 3 full gourds in front of you, yet there is a sense that something important might still be missing. The waters are no longer rushing towards you, and the calm may also breed anxiety. So it becomes a very fine line between appreciating what you have, evaluating where you are, and not becoming too self-centered to move forward again. If you use this time to settle into your own voice and sense of self, you'll be better prepared to sense what's coming next. Because who knows what great blessing may be about to drop, and is about to drop, out of the sky to you. Now this is the Lord of blended pleasure for me, the moon in the 3rd decan of Cancer. Well, the moon in astrology rules Cancer, which is one of the strengths of this card. But the underlying message of the card is that I think you want to be emotionally fulfilled but you want to be fulfilled in a deep way, don't you? You want fulfillment that's deep. And ask yourself, are you going about it the right way? Now, the moon also is associated with the principle of flux and change, and so your own emotional states may be shifting in line with the phases of the moon. But this does speak to me very much of love, tenderness, care, and emotional riches. Don't settle for what you have. Be careful of inertia, and make sure that you appreciate what you have. And don't set your sights fruitlessly on things that you can't have, or on people or a person that you can't have. And that leaves us finally one to deal with rather quickly, and is, see there again has that melanation stuff going on. The central energy. Now this is about fulfillment of wishes. This is the 9 of gourds. Well, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's a 9th one that's there. Now, there's an old Ethiopian proverb that says, if you pick up one end of the stick, you also pick up the other. Now, that's an acknowledgement of your own power of manifestation, for better or for worse. So although this is about wishes being fulfilled, I think for you this month, be careful of what you do wish for. It's here that you are being challenged with obtaining the pleasure and desires you have been looking for. Now, all of the gourds are up for taking, leading to, perhaps to indulgence, or to great satisfaction. But this can be a bit of a trickster sometimes, this card. And the overflowing waters of the outer gourds work their way inward like the legs of a spider. Now, in African and Caribbean folklore, the trickster, Anansi, is symbolized by the spider, but may also appear in other forms. Anansi uses intelligence and cleverness to outwit opponents, at times to humanity's detriment. This is a great metaphor, I think, for how manifestation of your desires can lead to your own downfall. Not always. As I say, though, be careful what you wish for. Even when life seems to be going well, it is necessary to check in with yourself to make sure this fulfillment isn't simply shallow and material. If it is, at least understand that it isn't meant to be a state of permanence, because you must always be about your business of living and growing. But the astrology is superb for you this month, because here in this position, this is Jupiter ruling the second decan of Pisces, the 1st to the 9th of March. Well, Jupiter rules Pisces in classical astrology. So there's very strong complementary energy there. And Jupiter's philosophical approach aligns so well with Pisces spirituality. Jupiter also brings you great good luck. So I see here, do you know also that Jupiter's softer concerns such as care, compassion, and the spiritual life are beautifully expressed through sensitive Pisces? There's an enormous capacity to love, although, as is so often the case with this gift, this is often hard won through lots of difficult times in the past. But I see bliss here for you, overflowing love, deep joy, blessings. You have the fulfillment of the goal of love and wishes being granted, reward for your efforts. And I'm pleased to say a very bright future in this month. And what a great month for you. That is the way it is for you this month. Did you like that? I certainly enjoyed providing it to you, and thank you very much for joining me for your March 2022 reading. Now, if you did enjoy it on the way out, please do me the favor of smashing the like button. It's good for the YouTube thing, the software algorithm that allows more people to see the readings. But in the meantime, I want you to remember one thing, though, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.